guns, long pulled gun like that, right? We saw how they handed everything over, not everything, right? We saw how they handed their weapons over to Nigerian military to say they have now renounced violence. They are not going to do kidnapping again. They are not going to do anything again. No bombing of pipelines anymore. They handed everything over to government. Boko Haram never handed weapons to Nigerian government. Boko Haram created Operation Safe Corridor, deceived Nigerians, and they are still using it till this moment. They are rehabilitating terrorists. They never surrendered their weapons. But they are Nigerians. Let's go back to the reactions of Nigerians after this Iranian strike by Trump and Netanyahu, right? Here is one person reminding like the elite now. We have left the normal voluntary slaves, now the elite.
Let me make a few remarks on this. I think the world is in such a state we are now because, in my view, because of the irresponsibility of the world powers, who now thinks that because they are powerful, they have the right and the privilege to do whatever they want within the international system. You have the Russians attacking Ukraine, and today you now have the United States and its ally, Israel, doing whatever they want to do or what they had intended to do for so many years. First, we need to understand that the situation we find ourselves today in the Middle East was actually caused by one person, the President of the United States of America. 4 years or 5 years ago, he canceled the Iranian deal made by Obama, which, by the way, was working perfectly well. The International Atomic Energy periodically was monitoring the development in Iran in terms of nuclear development and was issuing reports that they were compiling with the agreement that Obama signed. But Donald Trump came and canceled it for two reasons. One, because of Israel pressure. Netanyahu is a very good friend. Secondly, because Donald Trump wants his name, he does not believe. And one of his major problems is that a man with an ape face, a black man, became president before him, and that has remained so painful to him that anything Obama did, he was prepared to, take it out. Secondly, the Americans and the Iranians, and Israel have framed this initially about Iran developing nuclear capability or capacity. But here is the point. The truth of the matter is that the same Donald Trump, when he bombed the Iranian a couple of, I think last year, told us that he has arbitrated Iran's nuclear development. So there was nothing more to do. And they were speculating that it would take so many years before the Iranians could rebuild. So exactly what are they doing now? They are killing the leaders of Iran in an attempt to enforce regime change. Again, here's what everybody needs to know. America has attempted regime change so many times, and it has failed. Afghanistan there is a typical example. Libya is a typical example. What do they call it now? Iraq is a typical example. And this is the latest. In the words of Donald Trump himself last night, he's calling on the Iranian people to take over their country. How, for goodness sake, would the Iranians do that? So it shows you that America went into a war and they did not anticipate or prepare for who will take over. So how do we effect a regime change? So here we are again with the possibility of another American miscalculation taking place, but by the end of it, they would have killed so many people as has happened in the past. They would have destroyed, Iran, that was not a threat. Iran, we must emphasize, was not a threat to the United States in any way. Yes, it was sponsoring terrorists, supporting, what do they call them? These guys in Gaza and the rest of them. But it was not a threat to the United States, except that Netanyahu, since he became prime minister, has always wanted to go after Iran. And that's exactly what they are doing today. As for the implication of the world, of course, the world is on an edge. And nobody knows how this will end. But the truth of the matter is that at the end of it all, the Iranians, I'm sure, will rebuild. The Iranians, I'm sure, will take more actions, like they've closed the port of Hormuz or something like that, you know. And I sincerely hope and pray that the international community will rise up and compel these nations to pull back a little and let the people of Iran be. They have suffered because of the economic imposed by the United States over a period of years. Just like Cuba. Cuba has been under sanctions for decades, for more than 6 decades. They've managed to survive, but America wants to make it even worse for them not to be able to survive. So we are at the mercy of superpowers exerting their powers to tell us that they are the most powerful. And in that process, they are not only endangering world peace, they have virtually rendered the United Nations almost impotent in what's going on. And so here we are, dependent on whatever these two major countries, Russia on one side and the United States on the other side, have, in any way they want to define the war. But certainly it's a cause for concern, and I sincerely hope that nations all over the world would realize that it's in the best interest of every nation to come together and try and restore some stability, if they can. Let me make a few.
Again, opinion. Okay, it's just like water. It's I mean, everybody probably should have access to it or something. So it doesn't matter. America is America. They will do what they will do. Damn the consequences, and they will remind you that that is what the superpower does. So maybe if you become one, right, you might choose to probably be lenient with your own potential threats. Yeah, but that's up to his own opinion. But there's another person who decided to delve into America's involvement in the Christian genocide going on in Nigeria and using this development as well, okay, as a case study, right? That America doesn't give a damn about Nigeria, or they don't give a damn about the people there, or you know what I mean? It's just about their interest. That person is the member of Northern, what they call it, Northern Elders Forum or something, NEF. He's the senior brother to Obi's running mate, Dati. His name is Akim.
Well, first of all, I'm one of those Nigerians who is outraged and shocked that Nigeria has virtually handed over our sovereignty to the U.S. entirely and completely. When I saw the document that listed all these activities and actions that some congressmen like Riley Moore are going to take to Trump, demanding outrageous violations and assaults on who we are as a country, our sovereignty, our integrity, our unity, our internal affairs, our security, the way we live. I couldn't believe it. I could not believe it. This is something Nigeria should condemn without reservation. It appears that this administration has handed over Nigeria to the Americans lock, stock, and barrel. If a team that has come to Nigeria many times, operating under the allegation and the assumption that they are investigating so-called genocide against Christians, can go back, do a lot of work, and then up the ante and go to say to a president who always leans towards a narrow constituency involving the far right of America, and some Nigerians who are apparently very powerful as lobbyists in the U.S. to denigrate Nigeria, pitch us against each other, and virtually turn Nigeria into a colony. That's basically what that is.
Okay.
What worries me is what appears to be the indifference of millions and millions of Nigerians who know what Nigeria was and is. There are non-Muslims who think this is a good thing for Nigeria. And there are Muslims who are outraged that even contemplating issues like removing Sharia, blasphemy laws, relocating Fulani people from where they are, virtually amounting to ethnic cleansing. These are things that will worsen inter-community relations in Nigeria. They shouldn't be tolerated, and we should demand that our president says to the Americans openly that there are limits to what this relationship involves. But above all, we want to know exactly what these agreements involve. Have we handed over America? Have we handed over our country, America, completely and totally? We are no more an independent country. America will decide from Washington who lives with who lives where, and which religion should be favored and which one should not be.
How many times would they tell you before you know that Nigeria is not for you? Ah! Now they never leave you. They have left you behind. Photo, not be juju be that.
Right. See, that thing he just raised is meant to actually call for everybody's sort of like reactions, okay? Because to be honest, I did say something about that on this platform in the past, that Tinubu is going to give Donald Trump everything he wants. They've got compromise on him. That's aside. So he's not that president that is going to go to the camera and act like a Nigeria president. He is not. If they ask him to jump, he is going to ask them, how high do you want me to? He's not going to question it. While they were using media to try to whitewash how they are responding to America's demands and the rest of that, he sent a delegation to America to tell them that they are willing and ready to do whatever they want. He didn't just go there. They walked out and picked up, a deal where they were willing to commit over $1 billion to the American military hardware just to show loyalty to Donald Trump. And they have had several meetings, no doubt. And some of the details of what they have discussed, including the ones that they have discussed with Ribaton, which I don't know if they signed anything, right? We have been having snippets from their conversations, and part of the conversations, okay, is that number one, you see all those Fulanis that are threatening the people of the Middle Belt part of Nigeria. There is a chance that they will remove all of them from that part of Nigeria. Do you know what that even means, right? And it's going to be government coordination to remove all of them from that place. Something that some believes, again, don't get this wrong, go. Some of them believes that Tinubu and Ribaton, they wanted to behave like Bukwari, pretend to be cooperating with Trump until Trump is no longer the president. Okay, and they can just forget like it ever happened. You get that now? But they may not be that lucky, because right now there is a plan to ensure that there's a special protection for the people of the Middle Belt part of Nigeria, which includes harming them. Maybe not give guns to everybody like that. So, I mean, you will see the vigilantes who are going to be trained by the Americans. They're going to be carrying American weapons, and if the Fulanis in that axis by any means try to attack, zoom them out. So it's going to be the first part of Nigeria where this special protection is provided as agreed by Nigeria. But like Akim Baba Ahmed was saying, what are other things that Tinubu probably is willing to agree to? They know what they're saying. Because to Tinubu, right? Well, if that's it, how can we do it? How can we go around it and give it to them? So Riley Moore and others went to Nigeria. They spoke to the victims of this Fulani terrorism. And when they got back to America, they decided to tell Trump that, listen, if you are looking for those who are funding the terrorism in that part of the Middle Belt and northern Nigeria. We found out of the Chinese. We have the verbal evidence, we have the physical evidence of what people are saying and all that. So it will be better to mount pressure on Nigeria to sever relationship with China and ensure that they remove them from that part of northern Nigeria. And also remove Sharia. The Sultan of Sokoto. So right now, Tinubu is expected to act smart enough not to offend the Sultan of Sokoto as well, because they intentionally ensured that the Sharia is part of Nigeria. They took Nigeria to the Islamic, what's it called also, this IOC, the OIC, and they declared Nigeria as a republic, the Islamic Republic of Nigeria. They didn't make it official, but Nigeria is considered as an Islamic country because of these guys. They wrote the constitution for the country, the constitution that the people didn't see until they gave it to the newly sworn in president in 1999. He never saw it for once. He never read it. That's the Obasanjo. And inside that same constitution, Sharia is mentioned about 47 times. Sharia, the Islamic Council of Nigeria, Sharia section, there is about Islamic, there's no other religion recognized by Nigerian constitution, even though the constitution says Nigeria is a secular state, meaning there is no state religion, but yet inside that constitution, Sharia, this, Islamic, this or that, all listed inside that constitution as your law. So what the Americans are asking Tinubu to do, or if Trump demands that, is going to be that the Nigerian National Assembly would have to amend the Constitution of Nigeria, remove Sharia from it, remove blasphemy nonsense from it, and cancel all this Sharia court nonsense all over the place. Others are now saying that if that should be the case, Nigeria will cease. And others are also saying, well, that's good news. You can have Arewanistan, a place where you can have close affinity with your families and relatives in Afghanistan, in Syria, in Iran, and all these places, rather than try to want to force Sharia on the rest of the country, sponsoring that and then spreading violence in the course of it. So, how this is going to end, we have no idea. So you see these coming days, if Donald Trump goes to his office, and the next file on the table is Riley Moore's report about the Christian genocide in Nigeria. Netanyahu is interested. And if Nigeria becomes the next step focus, they don't even need too much pressure. I don't think a lot of you are ready for what that is probably going to lead to. We'll leave that one for a second. The Sokoto state government, this is how they breed all this their corruption. Sokoto state government in this Ramadan says they are spending I think it's a 1.4 billion naira on feeding the people during the Ramadan. So Ramadan is how many days today now? 7 days? I don't know, but that's not the point. We saw where they are feeding these Sokoto people with 1.4 billion naira food. Obviously, it's kuli kuli and Sokoto. Kuli kuli and Gary. Oh, I have mixed things up. There's something I wanted to share with you before we go to Sokoto. I want us to stop in Kaduna. Look at this community. I'm going to try and see if I can round it up by giving you what they are indeed talking about, right? We're talking about the Chinese and the illegal mining in Nigeria, all over Nigeria. See, there's the community called Anchao Kabau. It's like Anchao community, it's called, right? Under Kabau local government area of Kaduna State. They have this SOS, Save Our Soul, call to the government of Nigeria. So I have one quick request, okay? We are currently on YouTube, we are currently over 1,200, like nearly 1,300, right? But we only have just about 300 of us who have actually liked the broadcast. So if you haven't, right, please like the broadcast in this next minute. Let's take that to maybe 500. We do that. Let's go to this community in Kaduna. They speak in Hausa. I'll tell you what they are talking about in the comments. Watch this. Talking about the Chinese illegal miners.